I love the fact, because sometimes when I'm talking to her, I'm like, nah, she's not really from Indiana. She's from New York. She got a little bit of New York in her.
I hear that all the time.
I'm like, because when you started talking, your hustle game is fierce. But I'm telling you, you got that hustle thing, honey. You got that hustle. And I love it. So you're training, getting people in, I guess, the first steps of the medical field. Is that correct?
So what I do is kind of threefold. So although I'm not training people to become CNAs, I help other entrepreneurs start their own schools to start their own training programs. So when I say what I do has is threefold or has a trifecta appeal to it, I am helping entrepreneurs start their own legacy by starting and creating their own healthcare schools. I am then helping to create CNAs all across the nation because they need to get jobs, they need to get out of poverty, they need to be able to start touching lives. And then the third avenue here is our ever aging population. Baby boomers for the next 20 years are going to all be in need of care, and someone needs to care for them. So now is the time to start preparing these individuals for this education to care for these people, and they need competent care. So that is our goal, to help, again, threefold, to help three different avenues of people: the entrepreneur, the person who is looking for a job, and the person that needs care.
What I love, by you doing that as well is, as you said, it's a trifecta. Yeah, it's a trifecta. And what I love about it is you're teaching people how to be entrepreneurs, and the fact is they don't understand there's so much money out there. There's a lot of money. There's grants to start your business. If you're a minority, girl, I know, honey, because I've been checking some stuff out. So when people talk about there's no money, they can't find jobs, there's some people who should be worker bees and there's some people that should be queen bees. Okay. Some people just need to, and it's okay. We all need to know our lane, because people don't understand, y'all. Look, it ain't easy being an entrepreneur now. You don't just slide on in, especially when you first start. You're doing everything yourself, and it's like you eat, sleep, your business, and things like that. And then you're like, what day is today? It's true. People don't understand. And I think like 9 to 5ers who don't understand how consumed we are. And I don't mean obsessed, because so many, it's like an octopus. There's so many different wheels that we have to do. And then you have to come home and be the wife and be the mother and be the caretaker. So by saying that, what do you do for self-care?
Prior to, no matter what, because I am my own boss, I gave myself one day off a week. Like, I wasn't playing, like one day off a week. This is before COVID. When COVID hit, life changed because now I homeschool, I do everything now. But before COVID, yes, one day a week, I had a day to myself where I can do whatever I wanted to do. And I'm talking about the entire day. Like, I wasn't playing any games. So I took it like a work day. Like, I'm going to go, maybe I'm doing my hair and my toes. Maybe I'm going to go read a book. Maybe I'm going to go out of town. Maybe I'm just going to take myself to dinner. Whatever I'm doing for that one day is what I would do. And it was non negotiable. Now I give myself an hour at night. So 1 hour at night to myself. I'm telling you, right now, I am the hairdresser. I am the school teacher. I am the kindergarten teacher, the fourth grade. I'm doing it all. And I'm like, cuckoo, cuckoo.
And this COVID has really, I'm telling you, so many people are going to have PTSD after this COVID, because it's so much, particularly for moms as yourself who's out there being the teacher. You already have the Zooming classes, and sometimes that's not working. And it's almost like you're the teacher, because yes, they have a teacher, but you're doing
Mm-mm.
other things after.
No, I'm homeschooling my period. They're not even attending online school. No,
Girl, so
because I'm kind of over the public curriculum. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother discussion. But I'm kind of over that curriculum. So I kind of supplement and do my own thing. So we're just learning from school this year because of that.
Okay, so my question is, how are you balancing it? Because you're homeschooling, you got your
Mhm.
business, you got your husband, you got the family, you got the house. How are you balancing this? How are you even making time for me today?
Well, well, like I always say, I mean, I'm going to be honest. Something is going to lack when you're doing too much like that, right? Something is going to lack. I'm not even going to sit here and act like I got it all figured out and I'm doing it all and it's all big. Something is lacking. Something may be lacking and I don't even realize it's lacking. But my goal is to just schedule things as best as I possibly can and stick to the schedule. So I'm getting up extra early, answering my emails before anybody. Then when the family gets up, I do my thing. I'm supposed to be done by noon so I can start working on my own business. So I pretty much got things really scheduled out, and I stick to my schedule as best as possible. But I'm not gonna lie, some things just don't get done. And where things can't get done, I just have to bring people in. Like, I suck it up. I pay somebody to come and clean. I'm not cleaning. I don't have time to clean, and I could be making $1,000 while they was cleaning. So I'm
Why
gonna work
not?
in my.
Yeah, why not? And that's what I think we have to understand, because I'm be honest, I took the S off, even called women are worthy, but I took the S off my chest. No, I'm not superwoman. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to, because look, I'm not trying to fry the bacon, fry it up in a pan, and make you never forget that you're a man. We ain't doing all of that. So something is going to slip. So either you want me to get the bacon, fry the bacon, and never let you feel like a man. So you tell me which one you want, because I can't do all three. And I'm not going to try to say I can do all three. Because when I was doing it, Victoria, I was getting panic attacks. I was like the perfect wife, the perfect worker. It was too much. So I said, let's pump the brakes. Let's, let me breathe. Panic attacks disappeared. Let me be realistic, because I'm not trying to tell you that I'm perfect. No, 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 no. I ain't got time for that. So let me do things that I love to do. I walked away from my career. This is what I'm doing. I love doing this. So now, like you said, something is lacking. If it's lacking, if you got a problem with it, you need to like slip in. So if there's a problem, let's see how we can work. Kelly D. McCrae said, definitely feel like that, but self-care is necessary, but it's hard to get time for self. I'm struggling bad. Kelly, you need to like a worthy show, and we need to talk about that, because, and I'm gonna let you talk, Victoria. We have to. I know you're struggling, but think about what the worst case scenario is. You come first. Remember, when a plane goes down, or when there's issues on a plane, the first thing they tell you to do is to put the oxygen over yourself. You may have a baby, you may have a child with you. You have to preserve yourself first. Self-preservation. It's not being selfish. And I think with moms, they feel like I'm being selfish for some time alone. No, you have to take care of yourself first, because if you don't take care of yourself, think about this. If God forbid, if you go crazy or you die, what's going to happen to the babies? So you have to take care of yourself. And if you're struggling, we need to talk, baby girl. We need to talk, because I got this down on pack now. Let me tell you what the two things you need to say. Learn how to say no. That helps. Okay, Victoria, you're on. You can answer that.
I mean, as a nurse, we learn to prioritize. So if somebody ain't dying, it is not urgent, period. So whatever is on your plate is not that urgent. Like, it can wait. It may not like to wait. Whoever behind it may not like to wait, but that's okay, because I can't kill myself because you don't feel like waiting. And whatever your emergency or issue is really isn't a dire emergency. So in nursing, we learn to prioritize real quick. I mean, literally, I can come in with 5 patients and just hear a 15-minute synopsis over everything that's going on with all 5 of them. And within 2 seconds, I need to be able to make a split decision on who I'm going to see first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So for nurses, and I think a lot of nurses don't recognize this, for nurses, entering business is truly a cakewalk from a delegation structuring standpoint. We just have to learn how to take the skills that we've learned in nursing and transition them over into business. We are awesome when it comes to that kind of stuff.
And I agree with you. And that's why I want people to understand, self-care is not selfish, but people think it is, because I'm still talking to moms who like, I don't want to spend time away from my child. No, you need that time. You need that me time. Take that shower. Calgon, take me away. Shut the door. Give them a little game or something. But it's so important. And also, it's important to have positive people in your circle to remind you to take some self-care. And it's not that we're criticizing you. Sometimes we have to say, hey, you've been working kind of hard. You got your babies. How about I got them for 3 hours? You go do what you need to do. It's going to drive me crazy while you're gone for 3 hours. Go away for 3 hours. Let me watch the kids. And that's how we should support each other. Find your true girlfriends. Find your tribe.
I mean, I know it better than anybody. It's hard. Like, I don't have a mom to say, Mom, can you watch the kids? I don't have a dad to say, Dad, can you watch the kids? I don't have any family where I am. So, I mean, I totally get it. It can be really, really hard, especially if you feel like you don't have a support system. But you've got to be creative and you've got to find a way, because I'm gonna tell you now, stress is the number one component to hypertension, stroke, all of that. And that's not a game. And so you're right. You have to take care of yourself in order to take care of others, period.
Okay, let me share my business because y'all know I'm transparent. I put my business out. My husband's like, stop telling your business. And I'm like, oh, it's all good. I got to share because I want people to know. Now, listen. Now, because I do the show and I do so many other things, as you can tell, I'm a type A personality. So I would have lists of things I would want to finish my list, even if it was till 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd have to get that list finished, not realizing that the list can go till tomorrow. I wanted to finish today's list. And then I realized that all of a sudden I was starting to get headaches. I was starting to feel dizzy. My blood pressure was going up. I'm like, wait a minute, wait, I'm plant-based. So I'm not supposed to have blood pressure. But stress is a contributing factor. Girl, when I say I got rid of the 150 pounds stress, okay, 150 pounds I got rid of out of my life, because you can also have emotional vampires who sucking the lifeblood out of you. You got to get rid of those emotional vampires as well. And I got rid of a couple of those emotional vampires, girl. I'm like 125 over 76. I'm like, yes, I got rid of those people because you have negative Nellies in your life, and you have people who are fraudulent, who perpetrate that they're friends, but they don't want to see you do well. And they're constantly saying, oh, baby, we in church. You feeling it right now.
Because the thing is, people notice. You just keep them around for whatever weird reason you keeping them around. But I hope most of us have a skill. I know I do. I can be in someone's presence for 5 minutes and I know if I need to be bothered with them or not. It's that simple for me. But most people should be able to tap into that sense. It's whether or not we listen to it. What grandma used to say, believe people when they show you who they are.
Exactly. And see, for me, what I do is I would hear people talk about, well, these people are not for you. Put them in the back row. I don't want them in the back row. I want them out of the hell out of the stadium. I don't want them in my presence. I don't want them. I used to hear people, well, they're not for you, but don't kick them out. Just let them go in the back row. The people who are cheering you on, put them in the front row. No, get out. Get to step it. Look, I have an eviction letter that, if I see friends or people who are new to me, and if they're not acting right, supporting and being really cool, and I do a phone call, I send an email, and I'm like Cynthia Bailey on Housewives, you getting a termination letter. We're no longer friends. And I have no problems deleting. I have no problems with that. And we have to start doing that. If people are not serving you, they're not in alignment with you. I told T the other day, my new line that I'm telling people that we're breaking up is, we're no longer in alignment. And that's it. You're over. You're deleted, unfriended. I wish you well, but I don't want to do. And we have to talk about that as women, because sometimes we keep the hanger-ons because we just want to have someone around. Ladies and gentlemen, if they're not serving your purpose, kick them to the curb. It's okay. So now that we had this little therapy session for me, I appreciate it.
That was too funny.
I want to know from you, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
So in 5 years, The Secret Cocktail will be on a level that 15-year-old Victoria would have never dreamed. I already know I'm a $1 million company. So I'm just waiting for the $1 million day to get here, which I anticipate actually to be within the next 2 to 3 years. So when we say 5, in 5 years, I don't know yet. I don't know. My biggest dream is to have a very successful company that's going to be able to provide legacy for my family. That's the goal. Because again, the background I've come from, we've all been struggling, literally, and the struggle has to stop, and it has to stop now. So my goal is to make something that is sustainable. Right now, I have my little sister who's in my business also. So I'm training her in my business. She understands how to run things while I'm out of town and I'm doing things. That's a blessing. And I want to continue to bring, my oldest one into it, hopefully one day, and teach her things so that we can just relax. Because my goal is for this to be on autopilot. And I'm just going out there, hopefully in 5 years, I'll be able to give back in such a way that I've never been able to do before. And to me, that's what it's all about. Because again, like I said, someone believed in me. And because someone believed in me, I had the courage to believe in myself, and I'm here today. Just knowing that someone believes in you is enough to push people to the next level. But if you don't have anyone there to make you feel like they believe in you, you may not push yourself to the next level. People need people, whether we want to admit that or not.
That's true. And one of the things I want to talk about, because you're right, you and I have gone through some things, and I think what I'm doing now is a cakewalk compared to what I've gone through in my life, right? So
Mhm.
that's how I feel. For those of you who don't know, I'm a sex trafficking survivor. So for me,
Mhm.
this is cake. People get on my nerves or they don't do what they're supposed to do, but says she needs self-care that she should be taking. She's taking care of her mom with stage 4 cancer, my
Mhm.
grown kids, my man and I live with, in his stress on his job and my job. So basically, she's dealing a lot. Her father, her husband is coming home. He has stress on the job. Her kids have stress, of course, now with the coronavirus from home. Her mom has stage 4 cancer. So I think for Brenda, she feels like she's choked. Like, what do I do? There's no time. And she has to find time for herself because when you're a caregiver,
Yeah.
I give those people much respect. So, what advice would you give her?
I think that sometimes we make things out to be a little bigger than what they really are, and we have to look at it objectively and take bite-sized chunks. Nobody can eat an elephant all at once, as they say. You literally need bite-sized chunks. So when I have like a lot going on, which I do right now, and you definitely like you do, Brenda, just realize that I can't do all these things at once and focus on one thing at a time. And one thing at a time does include yourself, right? So maybe right now, mom needs you. I had a friend who passed away from stage 4 colon cancer 2 years ago. Broke my heart, a very young girl. And to watch the 7 years and her progression through those 7 years until she passed broke my heart. And, taking her to chemo, I was taking her to chemo every week. I can only imagine what you're going through, but you just have to take bite sized chunks. You cannot take it all at once. And it's okay. Remember, I said sometimes something ain't going to get done. It's okay. Whatever ain't getting done is not an emergency.
It's okay to break down and cry because we have to let that out. But Brenda, there's 7 days in a week. If you can't take a day, take a couple of hours. Even if you
Mhm.
want to go drive and go eat somewhere, like in a park or, find something, whatever it is that you love to do, reading, writing, whatever it is, Brenda, that you love to do, find time for that. Don't get lost. And I mean, no disrespect. Don't get lost in because your mom has stage 4 cancer. Don't get lost in your kids. Don't get lost in your husband or your dad. Find some time for yourself because it's getting critical. We don't know what's going to happen November 3rd. We don't know what's going to happen. You
Mhm.
know, what side of the coin we're going to be on. And right now, I think is a time for us mentally to start preparing ourselves for better or worse because we don't know how healthcare is going to look. But what I can say, Brenda, is to please find time for yourself. Find that downtime. You know what I'm saying? Just to like, okay, this is my time. Get away from the house because it sounds like a lot of people is in that house. So you may need to just find some time for yourself. So, what are you teaching your daughter, Victoria? Because you have a daughter. What are you teaching her? How are you different from your mom, and what do you want to instill in her?
Well, one of the things that my mom always instilled in me was confidence, being able to love who you are no matter what, right? And to survive. Like my mom taught me so many survival techniques. I promise you, when my mom passed, I was like, you know what? God is funny, as they say. Like he already knew all the things my mama needed to teach me in the small amount of time that she did because she really honestly had me prepared for life by myself at by the age of 15. She really did. So what I'm trying to do is give a better life for my kids, but I don't want my kids to be green. I don't want my kids to feel like everything is handed to them, even though I want life to be easier for them. So my goal is, especially with COVID, I need to really make sure my kids understand survival. Like they need to understand what it's like. If one day we ain't have lights, what would you do? If one day we ain't have water, what would you do? If one day we didn't even have this house, what would you do? So my goal is to make sure that my kids are appreciative for what they have and that they understand how to live in the event that they don't have certain means. And then of course, entrepreneurship. So my child, a part of her curriculum is entrepreneurship. And so she just started her own business and with COVID. So this has been fun and teaching her about her business plan and how to negotiate and all those things. No one taught me about entrepreneurship. I had to learn it all on my own and bump my head as I go. So